Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May peace and mercy and blessings of Allah be upon you all. So let's continue with our Surah Fatiha today. We finished last time, like a couple of ayahs we did last time, and we did it in real depth. Let's recap today what we did, what we learned last night. Let's go through it a little bit before we continue with the rest of the surah. Basically, we learned the difference. We learned two things. One was we learned the difference between Rahman and Rahim. And the other thing we learned about our relationship with Allah. So let's go through what we did with Rahman. Rahman meant entirely merciful. It was like the mercy was this kind of a mercy is extreme and it's happening right now, and it is like a temporary or rather transitory in nature. Example is like if I'm hungry right now, I'm really hungry. So if I get food immediately, I get food right now, and my hunger was so extreme, and it was transitory because as soon as I got food, I was satisfied. I was not hungry anymore. So that is the kind of Rahman which is ongoing. That's the mercy, ongoing mercy. Rahim is especially merciful. Like it's not happening right now. It's not extreme. But let's give an example. Like if I say that that he is very strong, and he is strong. We know he's strong. He's got strength, but it doesn't necessarily mean that he's using his strength right now. So that is the meaning of Rahim. Now, the second one we learned was our relationship, our one-on-one relationship with Allah. What is it? He's our master and we are the slave. And once we have accepted this fact, we are free of all worries because we know that he will take care of us. Just as a baby is completely dependent on the mother and has nothing to worry. So the baby, nothing. So we also have nothing to worry. We are completely dependent on Allah. But the difference is that our relationship with Allah, the master and slave relationship, is a voluntary one. We voluntarily have declared that we are slaves of Allah. That means we are totally submitted to Allah. Now, I've got 2 points. Briefly, I would like to mention 2 points before we continue with the surah. This is a little bit different from the translations, but I just wanted to bring to your notice is about number one is the slavery in America, and second one is the women's right in America. Now, President, like I quote this, President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation on 1st January 1893, announcing that all persons held as slaves within the rebellious areas shall be free. So this was the freedom announced in the year 1863, and the 13th Amendment to the US Constitution was the abolition of slavery, and that happened in 1865. Now, second part, which I had to bring to your notice. What are the women's rights before 1920? Now, before 1920, married women could not own property and had no legal claim to any money they might earn, and no female had the right to vote. So you may Google all the details of women's rights and slavery in the whole world, in fact, not only America, and you will realize that all these rights, both of these rights, were actually given to us in the 7th century when Islam came into existence. So as we proceed into the explanation of the Quran, a lot of question marks emerging in our minds about Islam will be clarified in due course. So let's go over it. Now, we finished the first 2 ayah yesterday. Now let's go on to the next one. Maliki Yawmiddin. Maliki means the Lord. Yawmiddin is the day of judgment. So on the day of judgment, we will all answer precisely precise audits and accounts will take place on that day, because Allah is the owner of that day. He owes you and me compensation, payment. Allah owes us payment, compensation, and punishment or reward of whatever we did in this world. So you and me, we owe Allah your deeds, and He owes us compensation. So we owe Him good deeds, and He owes us the compensation we get for doing what we did. The word Malik means here in this, it means Malik, that He is the owner of that day, and He's also the king. So Malik means owner and also the king. So an owner pays attention to details, whereas a king does not go into real details. He concerns himself with big things. He looks at the bigger picture, and Allah does both of them. Allah looks at the small minor details also, and Allah looks at the bigger picture. Now let me explain to you in a small example where you could figure out what I mean about this. For example, you have a pencil. Will you say, I'm the king of this pencil? No, you will not say that. You will say, I am the owner of this pencil, because the king owns the country and has control of his people. But is the king owner of your pencil? King sees the entire territory, everything he will see, but the owner of those specific objects, like your pencil in this case, the owner will see little things. So this is your pencil. So micro is the small things, and macro is looking at the bigger picture. Here in this, if Allah owns the day, means He owns everything. If Allah is owning this one day, let's take this today's day. If Allah owns this one day, that means He owns everything that happens in that whole day, means the micro and the macro. So literally, Allah owns time. He has captured everything which has happened. He's captured it on the day of judgment. He can see on the day of judgment, everything will be very clear. Nothing is going to be hidden. So there are only two kinds of people on that great day of judgment. Who will be those two kinds of people? Those who will receive His mercy and those who will receive His justice. Justice means punishment. If you've done something, it will be justified, and if you do something bad, you have to face the consequences. So we have plenty of mistakes on our records. May Allah have mercy on us. Now, the first 3 verses are bits of knowledge. What we did just now, they were just bits of knowledge, enough reasons to make ourselves slaves of Allah. Now let's go to the next ayah. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. That means iyaka, to you, na'budu, to you we worship. Wa iyaka, and to you we ask for help. This ayah better explains the master and slave relationship with Allah. This is a good explanation we can get. In this ayah, we are talking about, we are talking to Allah, telling Him that we worship, like Iyyaka na'budu, we worship you. So it's literally that we are talking to Allah, and we give ourselves into our slavery. Here we've submitted ourselves into slavery, and like how in America we have a Declaration of Independence proclaiming that the United States is an independent country from Great Britain. So this is our declaration of dependence. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Dependence to Allah. We declare that Allah, we are dependent on you, and that is the only time we truly feel free in our hearts. Why? Because now our faith is strong. We have left everything on Allah, and our faith is strong, and anything which goes against our will not disappoint us. We will not be complaining about our life if something is happening against our will. People who think they are free, many people, they think, oh, we are free, we don't know. They are enslaved to their own body. When you think that you have freedom, but you are actually enslaved to your own body. Body means in your own like entertainment, people are enslaved in their own culture, then their own temptations or like false ideologies they have, and you're enslaved to fashion, you're enslaved to your friends, you have peer pressure. So the real freedom comes when you are not trapped into all these. You don't worry about anything because you are just a slave of Allah, so we don't care about anything else. You don't have to talk like somebody else is talking, so you don't have to talk like that way. You don't have to walk like somebody else is walking. You don't have to pretend to fit in like to a particular group of people. You don't have to think you are too like you're too short or you're too tall or you're too skinny or you're too fat. Now, why you don't have to think of all this? Because you're not impressing anyone over here. Your whole goal is to impress Allah, not to impress these people. So once you have that thing in mind, you've got a freedom. You're free now. You're a free person because you don't care about the other people. You don't care that I have to post my picture on the Instagram or I have to inform my friends what I'm doing. You have nothing to worry. So I have to like dress up very nicely. I have to look nice. I have to show that my friends that, oh, I'm having a great time. No, you don't have to do, because these are all like superficial things of life. So when you ask someone, "Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in," to you alone we worship and you alone we ask for help. So when you ask someone for help, you have to tell him what you want, correct? When you want to ask somebody, you'll say, what do you want? Whatever you want, you'll say, hey, please, can you help me with this? But Allah already knows what you want. He already knows. You have a long list of needs. We all need a lot of things. We just don't need one thing. We have a big list. So in this surah, you just ask for help without giving a list, because Allah knows everything. You just say, Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. To you we asking for help. So, and Allah knows it all. So in this surah, you just ask for help without giving the big list. Just say it once and it has been accepted by Allah. It is a quick way of asking for help without details, explanation, because we are so desperate for help. Like if you are drowning, if you're drowning in the water, what will you do? Will you say, you'd say, hey, please help me because I was walking and I slipped from that rock and I fell down, so and I'm drowning now, please help me. You won't do that. You'll say, help, help. So as soon as you say help, help, help will somebody will just come to you, and you're not going to give explanation. So in the same way, Allah also, it is like we just say, Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in, help us. So we worship you, so please help us. And Allah knows what you need. Now, another meaning is that we give ourselves to Allah in totality. We can only truly be free when we enslave ourselves to our Creator. We are required to abide by Allah's command. Because why? Because He's our master. This means doing whatever He commanded and keeping away from whatever He prohibited or forbidden us to do. What are those forbidden or prohibited things? Like we all know about it, like lying or backbiting or cheating or stealing, etc. We have declared to be Allah's slave, and so we ask Him for help. So first thing, we need to ask Allah to make us that slave, so we are able to ask Allah to our master. We can ask for Allah for help to our master. So just we should pray that Allah make us that slave where we are in a position to ask for help. Now, the meaning of the second part of this verse, Iyaka nasta'in, that we ask for help, it means help in matters we are like currently struggling in. So you are telling Allah, oh Allah, I am really trying to do this and this, but I'm struggling. So please help me because I cannot do it by myself. I need you to help me. So example, if you don't try to solve your math problem at first when it was given to you, will your teacher do it for you? She will only help you if you were really struggling and you were making mistakes. She will come help you to make corrections. Another example is that if you have a flat tire and you ask someone for help, and then you say, hey, please help me, I have a flat tire, and you just sit back and browse on your phone or listen to music and watch him, will he really help you? No, he will not. He will not help you. So, but if I'm already struggling with the tire and ask you, hey, I'm struggling, I can't do it, and ask you for help, and you are helping me, and I'm also like at the same time working, and we both are struggling together, yes, surely he will help. So nasta'in is help asked when you are struggling. If you're not making any attempts, then you have no right to ask for help. First struggle, then ask Allah for help. So struggle comes first, and Allah's help will automatically follow. Now, the first part of this verse is related to worship, Iyaka na'budu, which means our primary task is to be slaves and submit to Him. This is the first thing we need to do. And the second part relates to seeking help, to ask help from Allah. So when we worship, it is for the sake of Allah. And when we ask help, it is our need. It's our requirement. So what Allah wants, we should do it first. So we will worship Allah first, and what we want will happen later as a result of a payment or a consequence. So what is that? That is help from Allah. So we need to struggle first, and then help will follow. So it is mentioned in this order. Look at this. It's mentioned in this order because worship and submission is for Allah, whereas seeking help is for us. So the worship qualifies us for the second part, which means if we are not submitting ourselves to Him, then we do not qualify to ask for help. We don't even qualify for that help. Okay, now let's come to the next ayah. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Ihdina, guide us. Sirat, straight, a path. Sirat means path, the road, and mustaqim means straight. So it is like guide us to the straight path. We are asking Allah in this surah, we are asking Allah for things we need and not for the things we have, right? Something which we need. Example, if I ask you, for water and you don't give me, what will I do? I'll just be quiet. I say, oh, give me a glass of water, and you just went and you just ignored me. I'll just keep quiet. Why? That I'm okay, I just needed water. But if I'm like right now, I'm like going to die, or I'm going to collapse now, I'm going to faint because of thirst, and I'm very desperate, what will I do? I'll ask me, give me water. I'll ask you again and again to make sure you give me water. So we don't ask Allah something we already have. So we ask for what we don't have. That means I don't have the water, so I will ask again and again desperately that please give me. So we don't have guidance. We all don't have guidance, and we have to ask Allah repeatedly again and again, give us guidance. Ihdina, ihdina, ihdinas. Allah, give us guidance. That is why we keep asking it repeatedly during Salah. Every Salah we are praying Surah Fatiha, and we keep repeating, Ihdina, Allah, give us guidance. What kind of guidance? Guidance on the straight track, your straight path, the straight road. Don't deviate us, Allah. Allah, keep us on the right path. Now, increase in knowledge or having a lot of wealth does not mean increase in their guidance. Some people think, oh, he's got a lot of money, that means he's guided. No, we don't own guidance. It is like a super expensive thing. Guidance is a super expensive thing. So we have to keep asking for it. We have to keep asking Allah. Repeatedly, we have to ask Allah for guidance every time. And every time we run out of guidance, and we have to keep asking. We have all the books and all the knowledge and all the wealth, but we don't know how to conduct ourselves. We don't know the basic fundamental things, like how to respect each other, to be humble. When you talk to people, be very humble. and don't care, like we don't care for our parents. Sometimes we disrespect our own parents. We are arrogant. So guidance is a desperate request from us to Allah. We are asking for guidance. It's like a very desperately we are asking for guidance. You are asking Allah to be with you till the end of this road, in the the road, the path. We are asking Allah to be with us till the end. So the word sirat, path. Now let's look at what kind of road this is that we are walking. The road of life. We are walking. This is our journey of life. So this is a sirat, means a straight, a path which is like the road which is straight going, but it is wide, and it's a dangerous road. Here it means one straight path which cannot have multiples. Only one road. It is one path. No alternative routes, no deviation. There is only one path to Allah. Now, this is one path to Allah, but why is this path dangerous? Now, imagine, I'll tell you why it's dangerous. It's dangerous for us because we have to really track it properly. Imagine you're running on a straight road and some, thieves or bad men are following you. Some thieves are following you to steal something from you. Can they catch you easily? Yes, they can. They'll just keep running and you'll keep running. You'll run. Eventually, you'll give up and they will catch you. But if the road is winding and has alternative routes, is there a better chance for you to hide and escape? Yes, you can just move to the other roads and the winding roads and the alleys and you can get saved. But path to Allah is straight. So you have to make sure you're not getting caught doing bad things and you're able to walk straight. So you have to make sure. That is why I said it is dangerous. And mustaqim, sirat al-mustaqim. Mustaqim is again, sirat is a road, and I'm saying the meaning of the road is straight. And mustaqim again means straight. So what does mustaqim means? Mustaqim, why is it like, literally, why is it mentioned twice? So it means it's not like straight going like this. It means straight to stand. It means to stand up, moving straight upwards. This path is going upwards. So this path is going like straight up. Whoever is traveling is, what are we doing? If we are going in the straight path without any deviations, and whoever is traveling is rising to Allah. Their love for Allah is taking over the love for the world. You don't want to hurt Allah. You are guided and doing good things in life. This is not easy. Like this kind of road which Allah wants us to travel is especially not easy in this present times. Now, it's like we are climbing up a ladder, struggling against, like when you're going straight, you walk straight. It's easy to walk, but when you are climbing up, you are actually going against the gravity. Don't we have many distractions? But in our life, when we are in the path of our life, don't we have so many distractions? But we have to keep progressing on the right path because we cannot afford to fall back. If we start doing good things and we reach a particular point, we cannot afford to fall back because we will not be able to handle the crash. So this ayah includes our path all the way to the end without crashing down. So if you crash from your faith, the crash will result in really bad things. So we ask Allah to be with us till the end of the journey of our life. Higher your view gets on top, better you're going to see. The higher you go, when you look down, you can see better because you get a bigger picture of what life is about from top. The higher means intellectually and emotionally and spiritually, you are much better. So when you are higher in these terms, you have like a broader picture. You can see a life in a different way. For example, if you are driving on the road, if you're just driving on the road, what do you see? you see something, like you just see what's in front of your road. You can just see till the end. But if you are on a helicopter, what happens? Your view becomes bigger because you're higher up. When you look down, you can see everything around you. Not, and in the car, you just see the straight road. But on the helicopter, you see everything. So as you progress on path of guidance, you will understand its benefits, and you will understand how, when we are guided, when we are on the right path, how it helps us in our lives. Okay, now the next one is صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. Sirat is against the path. الذين, of those أنعمت عليهم, of those whom you have bestowed or showered favors on. So those, let's see, الذين. الذين means those. Now, الذين, it is in reference to the path of those righteous people that have already died upon truth, the truth and righteousness. We are talking about those people who are already dead and they were on the path of truth and righteousness. It is not referring to those who are currently alive, because the people who are right now, you say, oh, this person is very righteous, but is there a guarantee that they're going to remain like this? No, there's a possibility that they may go astray. So if you are, like, for example, I'll give you an example. If you are in college, do you ask advice from people who have already graduated from there, or do you ask your own fellow students? You will ask to the people who have already graduated, right? If you want a role model, you ask someone who has already graduated and gone through that experience, that whole path. You'll ask that person. Okay, so we understood about alladhina, those who an'amta. Now the word an'amta is you have bestowed or you have showered favor, meaning Allah made all the difficulties easy. We have a very difficult life. So an'amta means Allah makes all these difficulties easy and smooth to go through. Now the word anama is favor, anama favor, but the word anamta, it comes from a word meaning something very, naam is very soft, easy and relaxed. So the path of our life, on which we live, that's not easy. We all go through so many things. But Allah, whatever difficulties we have, eventually it sometimes it passes very smoothly, and sometimes it's like it just doesn't pass. It's so difficult. So when we reach that level of our relationship with master and slave, all the difficulties, they just seem to they very smoothly they passed away. You remember so many difficult times in your life, but eventually it passed with a good solution, isn't it? But when we think back, it was so smooth. And when we think at that time we were experiencing the difficulties, but now when we sit and think, we say, oh, we were so blessed. Finally, our problem was solved. We want to ask Allah that our path is difficult, but show us how to make it easy. So here you're asking, Anamta, you're asking Allah, show us. Now, another meaning of anam is also refers to cattle, because these animals, why anam is for cattle? Because animals are the cattle is basically very relaxed. They're not like the wild animals. They're very relaxed. For example, let's take a cow. A cow, how does a cow actually move? They like literally chill and they move. They are least pushed. When you walk next to a cow, the cow will just keep moving. But what does a cat do? The cat, if you just like make a little noise, the cat will just pounce, jump, and quickly run away. Now, even a lion can stand behind a cow. And what will the cow do? You'll see a lion there and she will say, bah. Just move, just go, just make a noise and just go. A cow will never like jump and react in that way. So we want to be chilled in our difficulties. So anamta is the animal, the cattle, the cool and chilled cattle. How does it react? Even in face when the cow sees a lion, how does a cow react? So we want our difficulties to be like this, that we should be so chilled during difficulties and so calm, and we think of the solution of it, and we are able to, may Allah give us the guide us how to overcome our difficulties without any stress. So this is basically this ayah means this, that we overcome our difficulties without any stress. Now the last part is ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. I mean, so ghayril, not of those. Maghdubi alayhim, not of those who have evoked anger, Allah's anger. So we don't want to be one of those on whom Allah, not only Allah, we will see more depth about this, that on which anger was evoked, or waladhdallin, or we don't want to be on the path of those who were astray. Now the phrase maghdubi alayhim, those who evoked your anger. Now, it refers to someone whom everybody else is mad. See, you evoked your anger. Someone who everybody is angry on. This person is receiving lots of anger. We don't want to be that person who everybody is anger on. Now, whose anger are we talking about? Everybody. So in the context of this verse, maghdubi alayhim, it implies anger of Allah, anger of the angels, anger of believers or non-believers, anger of people of the past or even the future generation. We still do things after knowing it, correct? We do so many things after you already know it's something wrong. We still do things, and that's the reason why you provoke the anger of others. Like, for example, your teacher has given you a list of question and answers for your exam tomorrow. Your questions are here, answers are here, and there are only 10 of them. And tomorrow you go, you don't study, you go there and you fail. So what is going to happen? Number one, your teacher, she'll be mad at you that I just gave you 10 questions and I gave you the answers too. You couldn't even write those, you couldn't even pass, you failed, you wrote everything wrong, you couldn't write actually anything. Who else will get angry? Your parents. Your parents, you say, oh, you had this was given to you and you couldn't complete it. Who else will get angry on you? Your friends also will say that, I mean, they'll tell you what's wrong with you. Why couldn't you just learn? You had to just go through. It would have just taken you like maybe 10 minutes to go through the 10 questions. Why couldn't you do it? Your friends will be mad at you. And who else? The most of all, who's going to be angry with you? Yourself. You're going to kick yourself, your own self, that, oh, I'm crazy. If I had just spent like 10, 15 minutes, I would have got all of them correct. So Maghdubi refers to those people who were given knowledge. They knew the truth, but still chose to go the wrong way. Just as you chose, you were given the question and answers, but you chose not to study. So you know something. So Maghdubi are those people who know something is wrong. Your heart is telling you this is wrong, but you still go and do it. So Maghdubi are people who know and still do wrong things. That's why they receive anger from all the sides. They receive anger. Now, waladdallin. Dallin are those who are astray. It means those who got lost. Who is to blame? Those who got lost. If you get lost, like if we finished Maghdubi, now we are going to Dallin. Dallin are the ones who got lost. Who's to blame if you get lost? If you get lost, you blame who? You blame yourself because you got lost. Now let's give an example. Let's understand this better with an example. if a guest is coming to your house for lunch, you invited them for lunch and you gave them your address, and they are driving towards you, they're driving, and the person who's driving, he took a wrong direction. He turned his car in the wrong direction. So, and now he's lost. He doesn't know where to go because you had given him directions. Now he doesn't know. So, will he call and say that, hey, you misguided me? No. Will he say, you misguided me? No, he will not say you misguided me. Say, hey, I lost my way. I lost my way. But did he, in this case, did he purposely take the wrong route? Did he turn on the wrong direction purposely? No, he didn't. Yet he got lost. And so, while we don't want to be the people who got lost, why we don't want to be the people who are dallin, the dallins, we don't want to be the dallin. And you will say, oh, it's okay. I mean, it's a mistake. I mean, everyone makes a mistake. No, because you made a mistake because you didn't think, you were not focused, you were not thinking at that time. You could have used a Google map. You could have used a Google map to go and you would have landed straight in front of the house. But you chose to just get the directions and you were confident of yourself and you were going in that direction. You didn't think of taking help when the help was available to you. So Dalin are people who do wrong things of not knowing better. And their ignorance in this case is not an excuse. You cannot say, oh, I didn't know about it. Like, for example, let me tell you, if you get pulled over for speeding, will the police officer let you go? Can you tell the police officer, oh, I did not see the red light? Can you say this? So is ignorance a justifiable plea of innocence? Is it? No, it is not. So here in this ayah, what we have learned in this, that all of humanity can be categorized into three categories. They can be categorized into three parts. Now, number one we learned was those whom Allah favored. Number two, those with whom Allah is angry. And number three is those who got lost. Now, one of the lessons this surah, Fatiha, teaches us is that we should not consistently do things that we know are forbidden by Allah. We should not do the forbidden things. And love of Allah gives us hope. It gives us hope as well as fear. It prevents us from doing things which are bad. When we love Allah so much, like for example, you love your mom or your dad or your elder brother or your elder sister so much, you love them that you don't want to tell them about the bad things. You hide. Don't you hide the things you do? You're hiding from your brother or sister or father and mother because you love them so much, and now you're afraid. You're so fearful. Oh, if they find out, what will happen? I will upset them. So this is our of love of Allah should be like this. The fear we have is because we love Allah so much. That's why we are fearful that Allah, we don't want to do anything which will make Allah angry. So Allah will be judge, and true justice will be established by Allah's rule. So we ask for Allah's help. All of us, we should ask Allah's help. May Allah bless us with this surah. We've completed the surah now, and may don't trivialize this surah. Don't like zoom through it at supersonic speed when you're reciting. Like don't recite it like a hummingbird, buzzing away like a bee in your salah. This is a blessing for us. This surah is actually a blessing for us. So take your own time with just try to understand the meaning of this surah when you recite it in your daily salah. Let us appreciate it and recite it from our hearts, remembering that we should refrain from the forbidden things. Let's refrain from the forbidden things, and that we should also remember that we are the slaves and we have completely submitted ourselves to Allah for His help. Here we come to an end of Surah Fatiha. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.